Hi guys, welcome to Make I Make Sense with me, Messi. We promised on the 16th we are going to bring you a sheet, and then we are right on it. I have on the show Mystic Brother. His real name is Maxwell, and he happens to be my schoolmate actually, way back. It's been ages. Nice to have you on the show, Maxwell.
Thank you so much, Messi.
And it's been ages. We met for like how many years? Since 2011.
That is 13 years so far.
It's been a long time
A
coming.
long time.
Yes.
And thanks for inviting me to your show.
Always welcome.
Sure.
I had to invite you because I have a lot of questions.
Right?
Today's discussion actually is about Adam's apple. I am curious. I want to know if it was a real the apple, the whole apple thing. It's because I know it's a fruit. It was a fruit, but Sunday school and everything shows that it was an apple. You understand? But I want to know. Growing up, I got curious, wanting to know if it's truly a fruit or is it something else. Is it an apple or banana, or it could be any fruit? But why apple? You understand? And I've had interesting conversations with people that made my curiosity more. You understand? So, for instance, I think I was giving a kid apple sometime, a female child apple sometime, and then a woman passed a comment. I'll stick this one in tree, just as she said. It was like, Madam, man apple, but more age mine. So like apple is now termed as BB for fornication or a drama. You understand? And it got me more and more curious. And I have some Christian people that I look up to. I was discussing the same issue with them. I was like, I think it wasn't a fruit. I think it was sex. Some of them got angry because I said it was like, maybe it's because it was coming from me. Maybe it was, if it was coming from their pastor, they would have accepted it. But because it's coming from me,
they look at it in a weird
you
way.
understand? They go like, what do you know about the Bible? Like, so that is why I had to invite you, because you have ideas about all these things, so that we discuss for my followers and everybody to also, those who are also curious, because maybe people don't have that thing in their head. They are still holding on to the apple, the fruit kind of thing. But maybe this time around, I have put out the question out there. They will draw their mind on it and go like, yeah, she's actually right. So that's why I invited you on the show. So give us your take on this whole Adam's apple thing.
Thank you. That's a very peculiar question.
Yes.
In the histories, in the setting of the nature of nature, that's a very peculiar question. What is the apple? And we should ask, what is the Adam and Eve? And then what is that snake itself? You know, what I know, well, through per studies and per experience in religious studies, or let me say theology or Bible theology, when they are writing Bibles, they consider certain keys. And in those keys in theology or in Bible studies, we understand that those things are what we call archetypes. Okay. So the Bible itself was written with an archetype. Okay. So if you want to understand the Bible, the most important thing that you have to do is to know the archetypes, because the Bible comes with those various archetypes that explains the little meaning of every phrase in the Bible. You understand? So we came to understand that the Bible has been written with a peculiar knowledge or with wisdom. So without his wisdom, we cannot understand these things that we are talking about. So I'm coming to use this opportunity to explain in a very short way what's the Adam and the apple and the snake and all these things is up. You can come up with other questions. Should you?
Yes, most definitely.
Fine. You know, we are more used to Adam and Eve.
Yes.
In understanding Bible, or let me say, in the beginning, they say God created Adam and Eve. But what does it mean, really, when we talk about Adam and Eve? This has to do with our sexual gonad or our sexual feeling. in archetype, we know that there are certain nadis that generate from. If you are a woman, we have two ovaries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you are a man, we have two testicles.
Yes.
Right. We, per experience or per my own geology studies and other studies that I've done, or my own chemical performances, I've understand that the fiery energy resonates from the right side of the male, and then the watery energy emanates from the left side of the male. Okay. But in women, this polarity is changed. Okay. So we have the fire at the left side for the women, and then the water at the right side of the women. These things are referred to as, in some traditions, we call them Ida and Pingala. Okay. And in some traditions, we call them Adam and Eve. And in some traditions, we call them fire and water. In some traditions, we call them the snakes. Okay. Now, when you look at Bible did not put anything wrong by using these archetypes to describe this energy. Okay. Because the Adam can be referred to as our brain when we come to talk about exoteric things, and then the Eve can be referred to as our sexual gonad. Okay. These two organs are connected by the spinal column. Okay. So in that case, we refer to the spinal column as the snake. Okay. Are you getting it? Okay. Now, the fruit is the sexual act. Do you understand this thing very well? Okay. We have the water and the fire emanating from both the testicle and the ovaries. Are you getting it? Yes, I am. Those are referred to as Adam and Eve. And it can be represented, it can be sub-represented as the sexual organ and the brain. The connection of the connection between these two organs is the spinal column. Are you getting it? Yes. Good. So that is the description of Adam and Eve, and then the act, the sexual act, is the eating of the fruits. Do you really understand? Yes, I do. But if you don't get it, you can.
No, I get it. For me, I get it. I get now. You've satisfied my curiosity. Somehow, my thoughts about the whole fruit thing, making it sex. You've made it. You've confirmed it as bite, and then you've explained it to me into details. Okay. For me,
who the Adam is.
Yes, and who the Eve is. Yes. Now, if this kind of explanation is there, then why is it preached? That is, my whole problem is the whole church thing. Yes, I know. I was given an instant that maybe they use those things because we have kids in the church. The pastor cannot come and stand in front of the whole congregation and say sex because he thinks they are kids. So I was thinking that is the main reason why they were using the fruits instead of explaining into detail. So for me, you satisfy my curiosity. And then I think, don't you think it's about time churches preach the naked truth instead of going on? Because mostly me, what I think is it's all shallow teachings lately. Because if I'm discussing this with a church going person, the person gets angry because I am telling them the naked truth. Don't you think it's about time? Yeah. Because if it's coming from the men of God, they will ingest it very easy. You understand? But if it's coming from me with all my piercing and all my, they'll go like, what the hell is wrong?
I want to say something further. When you look at a scientific logo, or when you look at the logo that describe or that allocate people as a scientist or doctors or nurses, you see that it has a certain needle, and then from beneath the needle there are certain two snakes that coils around the needle. I don't know if you've experienced that.
I think I would have seen it and brushed.
The normal name that people use for it is caduceus of mercury, or whatsoever. You get it. So this is, you can see that one of the snake is red and
and the other one is
blue. Okay. This is describing this aspect. Every human being has this. The fact is, when you kill the human being, you are not going to see these things, but they are in a semi-ethereal form. I get it. So I asked him, this snake is actually a scientific explanation of the Bible. Did you get it? And the reason why a lot of people do not understand these things, or a lot of people, or these things are covered, is it reveals a maximum amount of truth. That when people take advantage of this truth, they can use it for a lot of things. You can see it in our public. So many people have laid their hands on certain secrets. And they have taken advantage of it, mastered it, and then they are using it to extort the individuals from money and all that. So a lot of the things has been hidden until the time that Jesus came. Okay, it was Jesus that came to explain what we call the Pistis Sophia. Okay, this Pistis Sophia explain all these aspects. So before somebody can be able to take these things, the basic has to first be explained to the person. If you don't understand the basics, yes, they'll be saying a lot of things.
But some of your terms, I think you have to break it down for us. Because this Pistis Sophia, this is the first time I'm actually hearing that word.
So you can just put down these things so that we can discuss those topics
as time goes on. No problem.
A lot of people
because we definitely have a long way to go. Me and you are so casket.
So
we are doing this.
Jesus was the first person to bring this topic that you are bringing here. He was the first person to preach it publicly. And he was the first person to use his practices to prove. That is why when he was drafting the cosmic comedy, it's a comedy. It's a cosmic. Call it, his play was a cosmic comedy, which has to do with using archetypes. He was using the 12 disciples to represent the 12 months, or the 12 zodiac belts that hover around the sun, and he himself represent the 13th, which represent the sun. But if these things are not explained, you get it. So let's drop that one and come to Adam's apple. I was trying to explain the reason why today's church, people don't really want to take certain things that are out of context or out of Christian context. You get it very well. So this is the reason why a lot of people will not take it, because people don't know this spiritual aspect of Christianity. You get it?
I have understood. Maybe my viewers have also understood it somehow. But then, if you still don't understand, if you still want a breakdown of whatever he has said, if you still don't really understand, you drop your you go to the comment section, you drop your questions, and then we will bring another season, and then he will come and explain it to you.
The reason why I don't even want to go much more is because if I'll be saying a lot, I may go much deeper.
Yes, that will confuse us the more.
So let us cut it short. If you have any misunderstanding, then you can
just drop it in the comment section. Yes,
we explain.
So we will actually be having more and more conversation as time goes on. I know as more topics are coming and discussions are coming, it will still go back to what we are discussing today, because this is all creation thing started with them, and it is definitely going to end. Everything you do, Adam, Eve, Adam. So I know. So Max, before I forget, there's this one question that I also want to ask. Yes, you've already explained what the fruit stands for, the apple and everything, but as this question is, in the garden, that's what we were taught. In the garden, there were two trees. We had a tree of life and death, and then we have the tree of good and evil. So God said, you have access to everything in this garden except
this
particular tree, good and evil. Can you explain, since you made me understand what the fruit is, and I just want to be cleared, like that thing to be cleared off my head. Why that tree?
Yeah, I knew very well per my first explanation. A lot of people will be asking, so if Adam and Eve were not material human beings, then what do they eat? Or what does it mean to say they eat? I know I was expecting this question anyway. But this tree of good and evil is the same as these two polarities. Okay. As Adam and Eve, female and male. Good and evil. Remember the the statement in the Bible, the statement stated what? You can eat of everything in the Bible,
In the garden, yes.
All right, okay, but do not eat of this. Yes, this one. For the day you eat of this, your eyes will be what? Yes, will be open and all that. It's a command or not a command. Okay, which means that if you come in connection with sex, it is not forbidden. This has to do with that statement. You can eat of every fruit in the garden. But let me make a statement. Please don't go having an affair with this and that and that and that, and you think that it has to do with eating of fruit in the garden. But God saying that you can eat of it, you can eat of any food in the garden, but except that one. It has to do with a spiritual insight. Actually, I have already experienced this statement through spiritual practices and other stuff. It has to do with you having affair with the person or you having a partner and enjoying that partner life,
yes.
being in that garden of bliss, of enjoyment, of sexual arrows and all that. But there are limitations to this sexual lifestyle of every human being. Get it? When you break the limitations, then you actually how am I going to put it for everybody? Then you go against the law of God.
Okay, that's fornication.
Yes, I'll come to that. Fornication, let me just make it quickly. Fornication, a lot of people think when you have fornication, it means you have multiple partners.
Partners.
No, that is not fornication. You can get married, and when you're having sex with multiple partners, you are still doing fornication. You cannot get married, or even if you are not married and you're having sex with multiple partners, it's also a fornication. When we talk about fornication, it has to do with that state of the human beings where they connect and release their semen, which today we call it coming.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
When the individual come, that is what it refers to as fornication. So fornication has to do with eating of the fruit of evil. And adultery. Let me clear this one too. When we say adultery has to do with any human being, whether you are married or not, and you go out having affair with so many people. That is adultery. But fornication has to do with having that affair with people and then reaching the orgasm. There are two different things. I don't know if you get it.
Yes, I get it.
Did you get it? Yes. So there are a lot of people who are married and they are still committing adultery.
Yes.
And fornication. Even these are pastors who preach a lot about fornication. They preach in the church and go to their bed and then they fornicate. This has to do with the crucifixion of the Christ. Are you getting it?
Yes, I'm getting
it. When man and female cross, or when man and female meet, that is a cross. Are you getting it? Look at the ovaries. It has this.
Yes.
And then the uterus come like the vagina comes like this. So when the phallus enters into the uterus, it forms a cross. So when the two individuals reach their orgasm, that is the crucifixion of the Christ. The Christ is a Latin word. It's derived from a Latin word that is what is called Christos or Christus. You can mention it anywhere you want it. And it's the semen in Latin. The Christos has to do with the semen. Are you getting it? So the Christ is an energy or a polarity that actually gives life to every individual being. Are you getting it? Which has to do with the semen. This semen resides in living men and women, which is the Christ, the image. That is why when you have sex and you release, you realize that you become so clear. You sleep and you forget to solve. A lot of anxieties, a lot of anger, a lot of unhappiness, a lot of emotional hallucination that goes on in the individual's life is because of sex, because we crucify the Christ every day, and then we try to cover it with our religious
holier than thou attitudes.
you get it. We
Yes,
want to
yes.
we want to go like, oh, because I'm in church I
Yes.
can have sex, or because I'm married I can have sex whatever I want. But when we talk about the crucifixion of the Christ, we are talking about having an affair with the individual and reaching the orgasm. The orgasm is the crucifixion. So in those days, even before you have sex, you have to go to the temple, and then the pastor
Yeah,
or this thing,
yes.
or the father or the priest officiate this sexual act.
I think it's not. It's not. I think even in Islam, you want to have sex, you have a prayer you say before.
Yes,
You have sex.
yes.
So I think for that, and then before I forget, I'm going back, taking you back to the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
So if let's say, let me just put it this way, God was so angry that they ate the fruits and threw them out of the Garden of Eden. What does that mean? Because if everything you are explaining is like our body and all that, it's our body.
It's our body.
We can enjoy what we want to enjoy. You understand? So why would he get angry as to take them out of the Garden of Eden? You understand? And then another question before I forget is the eye opener thing. You said when you have it, it opens your eye because free of
Yeah.
yes, evil and
Evil.
so my shallow thoughts about that was I made that instant I compared it to a virgin. So I told you I was
good.
I actually told you I had a discussion with a church girl,
Yeah.
2 church girls, and they go angry. So I stated it to them that take it like you're a virgin. If you're a virgin, you do anyhow, you behave anyhow, you dress anyhow. The moment you just for the first time,
Your eyes open.
your dressing mood changes.
Everything.
You have this kind of
Thing.
you understand. So
Everything
that
about
was my shallow way of explaining myself to people out there.
And did you know this is the problems of human beings today? Because we are not taught how to perform that sexual act from the first time.
Yes.
We ended up incurring a lot of energies that actually doesn't go. They are there in our astral sky, controlling everything that comes into our life. Let me tell you, when we talk about marriage, it is not about going to the church or about going to the courts to wear a ring or whatsoever. Marriage is when you have sex with somebody for the first time.
Ouch.
Yes.
Well, some of us are married to a lot of men.
A lot. And this is why marriages are not working. Let me tell
Some
you.
of us are married to a lot.
So is it God's anger over here?
Oh.
So a lot of things that happen in the life of the virgin. When they dream, the dreams come true. They are very intelligent. They are very vibrant and all that. The moment they begin to have those kind of sexual lifestyle without a perfect officiating, then you begin to encounter a lot of problems in your life. You are kind of like distant from your reality. We shouldn't impersonate God. We shouldn't think that God is up there as an individual person and that one day that. When we think like that, then we will not be able to tap into these things. Very, very necessary.
So this means he getting angry because the sexual thing was too much.
No, not.
It wasn't just a one-time thing. That brings my if that's the problem, then it brings my question to. Then it means Adam and Eve were actually Adam and Eve. You stated is like
It's an actor. Like every human being, you like this has Adam and Eve.
So that brings to the creation of humanity. So
let me tell you,
the creation of humanity was not really with Adam and Eve.
No. That is just an archetype.
Okay.
And when I talk about archetype, I'm talking about a representative of certain certain symbols to to explain certain phenomena
Okay.
for people to understand
Now
spiritually.
that makes more sense.
Are you getting it?
That makes more sense.
So that is why I was telling you that in some tradition, Adam and Eve are called Ira and Pingala. In some tradition, they call female and male python.
Yes.
Are you getting it? Which in science refers to the caduceus of Mercury.
That's how we have female and male of everything.
And every human beings are both male
and female.
Yes. That is the Adam and Eve.
Yes.
So when you don't balance that energy in you very well, which can only be achieved through sexual act, which that sexual act is not taught today, it's lost in time. Are you getting it? So a lot of people are entering into the garden and coming out with so many fruits every day. Every day. And that is what is fighting against every individual on the path of progress. Let me tell you, when you disrespect sex, your life is going to be full of disrespect. And that is God. That is doing of God. God is neither bad nor good. God is an energy that the energy that you feed into it is what comes back to you. So God is no more creating anything at the end of the day. That we the human beings through our actions that we see around that is happening. So God being angry with us is because we don't handle that sexual polarity very well. Do you understand? Yes, sex. When we talk about God, we are talking about sex. There is nothing, nobody can stand anywhere and be talking about sex with God without talking about sex. The moment two people are united together, God is there. That is why when you curse somebody through sex, that curse can never fail. When you pray a prayer during sex, that prayer can never go unnoticed. That is why I don't want to put this thing online. A lot of rituals are being through sex. Let me say the most powerful and the most unfailing rituals are through sex.
Yes.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
Yeah. Because sex comprises fire and water. That is why when you're having sex, you see a lot of people sweat.
Yes.
A lot of people, because at that time there is a subtle fire that is even higher than even the physical fire that we see today. You get it?
You're making sense.
Those are the things. I think I'll just be cutting it because we have
a lot. We have a lot to talk about. We'll be doing. I think we'll be meeting every Mondays to have more of this discussion. Because you're talking, even as you are explaining this, it's bringing out more topics into my head and all that. We'll be talking more about spirituality. We'll be talking more about marriage. We'll be diving deeper into the sex thing, and then we'll be diving deeper into the sex thing. Numerous or countless sex and its precautions and all that. We will be discussing this because I'm very interested in that. Because some of us, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Some of us, you see, I just asked because I'm adding myself.
You know, one thing too about this thing is it has been programmed in a certain way that whether you are ignorant
or not.
I get it.
Wow.
So the most important thing is the discovery of these things. And it is very sad that our pastors or our leaders or our traditional leaders have lost that contact with that.
That is what that was what I was saying. Don't you think it's time they tell us the naked truth?
You know, a time came in the life of human beings that they call certain people outcasts. Do you know, those people, when they go to the temple to have sex and the priests realize that they have released their semen, then they outcast them.
Okay. So that was how the term outcast came about. Okay,
so outcast was purposely for people who have sex in the temple and release, because at that time the human beings was evolving into another dimension. Okay, you know, the human beings was first androgynous, both male and female. All this connected together. Okay, but as times goes on, there was a very terrible occurrence in the setting of the earth, where a comet passed through the course of the earth, and then this was resulting in the destruction of the earth, and the earth was losing its energy, and it was losing. So the human beings at that time were so enlightened, and this place or this planet was just used for sporting activities where they emanate in this region and then do their sporting activities and then go back. This place was meant, or this planet was meant for just enjoyment, because it was the first people who came here was the protoplasmic people. Those were people who has the ability to change their shape into anything that they want and all that.
Most like shapeshifters.
Yeah. So we were the same human beings that were living in those times, but so much active and awakened to the extent that all of them have magical powers. I don't know, a lot of people know about this state of nature. When you look at the wildlife, or when you watch the wildlife videos, there is no difference in how we, the human beings, are living today. Are you getting it?
That topic.
So first, the human beings were just living like the animals.
Yes.
They have a higher intelligence.
So I think we will address that because I was actually asking that. You see, in my video, the video I put out there on the internet, I asked this question: that are we all enrooted in one pot? Because I feel like humans have a little bit of everything in them.
Yeah.
We have animals in us. We have plants in us, because we have human healers, we have plant healers, we have poisonous plants, we have poisonous human beings. So I feel creation, that's what I said we will talk about creation is on its own as a topic. Because I had a lot of questions. I'm a deep thinker. I think a lot. And then when I'm there and the thoughts come into my head, I can't sleep. I have to think.
That is why you could hold a program like this. If you are not a deep thinker, you cannot hold a program like this.
This thing has been in my head for like a while. And I kept postponing, so I just set a date on the 16th. Before I called my manager. I was like, "Yo, I've set a date. I don't have anything to say, but this is what I want to do." And he was like, "Let's do it." You understand? So we have
a lot to this guy. This is the niche.
Viewers, you guys have to buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride. This program actually is not for the shallow-minded
at all.
Please. Don't come into our comment section and be is it backlashing or whatever?
We will take our time.
We will take our time to reply.
To explain everything.
Understand? But if you are not a deep thinker, if you are one of those people who just listen with your shallow mind and then start talking, we will give you a befitting response.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but we'll give you a befitting response. You understand? I know this topic that we are treating is also going to bring a lot of men of God on our necks. Men of God, you are free to contact us to be on the show.
No problem.
If you think what he's saying, you can challenge him. If you think you have a biblical way of challenging him, welcome on board.
Us.
Now he doesn't want to take the thought alone.
Oh no, it's not my program.
Please,
it's your program.
If you think you have another way of explaining for us to really understand things, because he has done a good job. He has killed my curiosity. And I thought his way of explaining to me is giving me more questions. And I know my viewers, if you watch this, you'll also be having more and more questions. Don't be scared to drop it. We will make sure we respond. We will go live one of these days and make sure we will tell you when we are going live, so that you drop your questions, you get your answers, and then, because if we say we are discussing this thing here, it will be dark. It will be dark
because it's an elaborated.
Yes.
It talks about the human being.
Yes.
When we talk about Adam and Eve, we talk about the human being. You know, I was applying a secret that I learned from this topic, which I'm not going to give out, but it could heal any kind of sickness. It could heal stroke. It could heal. I've tried it several times when I'm sick, and I have, as on this topic of Adam. We call something the Elohim. Elohim is a Hebrew word that means the gods.
Okay.
And when we talk about the Elohim, we are talking about all the entities that lives within the universe, or that are contributing to the cosmos creation.
Mm.
Are you getting it?
Mm.
So when we talk about Elohim, we are not talking about one aspect of God, but we are talking about every human being
Mm.
or every animal or everything. You were saying something earlier in your presentation. You said
Mm.
that the human beings, you realize that we are of everything. We are of
Yes, a
animals, we
little
are of
bit of
trees, we
everything.
are every. It's true.
Yes.
When you believe in reincarnation, it's a
Mm.
kind of a circle
Mm.
that every human
Mm.
being is in.
Yes, I really believe in reincarnation.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Mm.
It's a fact.
Mm.
When even I have
Mm.
experienced my past lives, not once,
Mm.
not one
Mm.
life, one past life,
Mm.
and I've experienced how I died.
Mm.
I've experienced how
Mm.
I transformed through all these things. Okay, so which I realized that a human beings, even sometimes, you can die today, and when you are
Goodness.
coming back, you become a male or
Yes, because
female.
we have a lot of videos flying out there. You see this video, it said a small boy said, I was your grandmother, I died and I woke up. I was your this, I died and I woke up. I always say it in a jovial way that me, I died and resurrected again.
Yeah,
I
it
always
happens.
say, and
It
people,
happens.
not, this in this modern Ghana, when you say things like that, they call it witchcraft.
I think we'll put
We
this
will
in a
discuss the
context, yeah,
reincarnation thing.
exactly,
Yes,
and
so
linking it to hell and
yeah, and
heaven.
heaven, because
That is
this
hard.
topic, you
It's a
keep,
good topic.
you a wizard, I'm a witch. Simple. It's as
That's
simple
good.
as that. You a
And we
wizard,
are
I'm
going
a
to
witch.
kill it. We are going to kill it.
We will discuss this reincarnation thing. We will discuss spirituality
Exactly.
on its own as a
Yeah.
topic. Yes. So um any last words for my viewers, because we have to wrap up and then get to have a different topic some other time, and then yeah.
And
And then you leave your handle. You tell them your social media handle as well.
okay.
Yes.
And thank you all for staying tuned. And we'll be coming up with more and more topics that will enlighten what we started discussing right now.
Mm.
And it's a lengthy thing. You are going to stuck
Mm.
to this channel.
Mm.
So stay tuned and God bless you. May all beings be happy. That is what we want to achieve in Ghana. We know religion is not doing a lot to help the individuals lately. Either rather they are trying to extort the
From
individuals
them.
from their destiny. This is because how things are explained to the individuals. When the individual knew that no, we are an individual God on ourselves, and the most important thing is to discover ourselves, which in some tradition we say, "Know thyself, and you shall come to know the universe and the gods." I don't know if you know that phrase. It's not a flower. It's not a super flower that the Bible says those things. When you know yourself, you are definitely going to discover God, and you are definitely going to discover the universe and the gods as well. And nobody can come and lie to you.
At all, at all, at all, at all, at all.
Thank you. And my social media, if you want my social media, it's Mystic Brother M. It will be tagged under the video. Then YouTube is Mystic Brother M. In TikTok is Mystic Brother M. And then in Instagram is Mystic Brother M. But in Facebook, I have Gnostic Teacher Ghana. Okay. So if you want my Facebook page, you can go to Gnostic Teacher. And then the rest of the social media is Mystic Brother M. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, viewers, for sticking with us. Please. So when I posted our handles, I didn't mean you should come and follow Nessie. Please, I've been having a lot of. I love the way you're following me personally, but I also want you to follow Make I Make Sense. We have a page for the show, so please follow that page as well for me, and keep liking, keep commenting for us, because it's really important. We will be giving you more and more enlightenment on reality, the things we are not really learning. Yes, the things we grew up learning a lot of things from Sunday school. Is good, and that is what is actually helping us today. But we still have to dive deep into what we've been taught already. And it's about time we grew from where we are. It's like we are stuck at one place. It's time we grow. And then, as I said earlier on, if you're a man of God and you think you have another way or a biblical way of explaining things for us to also understand, we want to get it from every aspect, our angle. Yes. So please don't be afraid to DM us. We'll call you back or text you back, and then we know how to take it from there. So the handle is at Make I Make Sense on TikTok and also on YouTube. Yes. Thank you very much. Be with me always, Messi and Mystic M. See you some other time.
Yeah, that's it.